Joining us on the How Did You podcast today is Katie. She's an associate recruitment consultant at Redcat, and she's recently graduated from DMU. How are you doing today, Katie?
Yeah, good, thanks. Really good. Thank you for having me. Yeah, associate recruitment consultant. Will be more senior soon, but that's incoming.
We basically had a little bit of a conversation before this, and I noted that media production wasn't something that you were looking to get into at De Montfort University. How did you end up becoming in media roles? Because, like you say, Redcat wasn't even something that you were planning to do either.
No, so from a very young age, I was always quite like creative anyway, but media didn't really cross my mind. Like it wasn't an option to me at where I did my GCSEs. So I thought, obviously, it's not a sustainable subject. I thought I can't go into it because it's not on offer. And then I heard quite a few people from other colleges do it, and I thought I feel like that would be something that I'd really enjoy, but I'd never really looked into it. And then when I moved into A levels, I'd already picked my other two, so I did drama and English literature. And then saw media as an option. I thought, you know what, like I'll do it. Worst comes to worst, I don't like it. It's only 2 years A levels. I'll pick something else or I'll figure something out. And I knew that clearing was an option at uni, so I thought last resort, do that. Picked it at A levels, absolutely loved it. Not to toot my own horn, but I was wicked at it. Like I just kind of gravitated towards it. Like it just was like second nature to me. And then when I did open day at uni, I originally went for media and communications. So like essay writing, talking about film and TV, which is what I did at A level, without me knowing that there was actually a uni course where you could do like all the production side of it. And that was it. I literally went there by accident. She was like, "Do you want to come on this tour because you've missed the last one?" I was like, "Yeah, go on then." And I was like, "How did I not know about this one originally?" And then that was it. I didn't even think about the other one. I didn't. It had gone out of the window. So, and then yeah, media production. And that's what I did.
So, how did you find your time at university? Was it something that was difficult throughout the pandemic? Because I know myself, it was somewhat difficult between the second and third year, but obviously you were kind of like a different part of the year, if that makes sense, because we were never really in any classes together, but we knew of each other and stuff like that. How did you find it?
Yeah, I mean, first year is exactly how everyone says. You can wing it. Doesn't mean that it's a good idea, but you can wing it and you can kind of just get a feel for what you like. And also, it kind of sets you up for what you want to pick for the next years. And the only downside I felt from it is that in the second year, when we got to pick our modules, because they were quite heavily production based, so I did like television and radio, we needed people in groups and for it to be like very hands on. Obviously, pandemic came and that was really, really hard. So for my final piece, I did a documentary. Have to film a documentary of loads of random people talking about their ideas on a subject, and I'm not allowed outside the house. So that was like a bit of a struggle, but we got it submitted. We got a degree, and that's all that matters. But I found it all right, to be fair. And because I commuted from home, so I lived in Leicester, it wasn't that bad. Whereas I can imagine people that lived in accommodation, it was a little bit more of a struggle.
How did you find your kind of like first exposure to media? Like your first kind of subject that you took on? Was this something you actually finally agreed that you were going to do?
Yeah, I think as soon as I started, very much from what I'd done at A level, it was very much let's write essays about this film, let's write essays about this piece of music, etc. Whereas like it was just completely different in uni. It was more like let's talk about how you can do social media and do radio broadcasts. And I was like, oh my god, this is definitely kind of what I want to do. But yeah, I think all the modules as well, they were very much up my street. So I realised I was like, yeah, it's definitely what I want to do. I wasn't sure what, but definitely either like radio or just something production media based. Definitely kind of working in that sector.
Yeah, I can completely understand that because it's just a fun time to have, like you say, radio, TV. You get to mess around with a lot of different things, but obviously produce things at the same time. Whilst working at various retail stores, you were studying at university and you managed to juggle time very, very well. Was that a bit of an added stress that you didn't really need?
To be completely honest, I kind of dealt with it well. I'm very much so when I've been brought up. I worked from 16. There was no chance that I wasn't going to be in a job. My mum and dad wanted me to earn my own money. So when I started uni, I was working on a makeup counter. And I thought that that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be like a makeup artist. And but when I joined uni, I was like, no, it's probably more media based. But I did like fairly part time, which was fine at the start. But then I got a new job literally in the thick of the pandemic, at a call centre, which was like 5 days a week, but it was all evening work. That was when it got a little bit harder. But again, it was kind of one of them things like I wanted to be making money and still getting a degree, so I just got to get on with it really. But it was okay. The only thing I felt like I missed out a little bit on was kind of the extracurricular stuff. So kind of meeting the people from the course and kind of expanding on that and maybe making a portfolio in the meantime. Whereas I just did like theatre society. I didn't need to produce anything. It was just I went there and acted. But yeah,
Yeah, I can completely understand that, and I assume this is the same call center that you were broadcasting the Fortnite news?
yeah, exactly that. Yeah, so I was probably about a year, no, maybe like 8 months in, and then there was the opportunity because the it was originally the head office manager that did it, and they were getting promoted to move to Doncaster. So I was like, you know what, I've always wanted to do that since I came. Like I literally said it on my first week to my manager. Is there any chance that I can get involved? Because I just like being in front of a camera and just like doing stuff like that. And then when they did it, they were like, at the end of it, they announced, oh, we're looking for a new presenter. If you want to, send in an audition tape and we'll get back to you. And then got it. But yeah, I loved it.
I can, yeah, like you say, it's once again going back into that mindset of messing around in a studio, messing around writing things, messing around doing things. But since university, you've been looking for jobs and you have found yourself at Redcat. How did the story of Redcat come along? And I guess further on, we'll get on with what you do there.
Yeah, exactly. And with the so even all my managers know this, and they already asked me like, how did you even get into it? So I searched on Indeed, like you do as a media student, media jobs, or like media production jobs, and it literally came up the first one saying tech and media recruitment consultant. To be completely honest, I had no idea what that meant. I just thought media and tech, yeah, let's go for it. So I was applying for loads as it was anyway, and applied for it. And I literally got a call the next day from this guy saying, "Hi, like my name's John. I'm from SW6. Like I saw your application. I'd love to chat with you." Me thinking that this was the actual job that I'd applied for, thinking it was them. So I'm on the phone, like, "Oh yes, of course, like yes," giving them all this information. And he goes, well, what I'll do, I'll get your CV and we'll pass it out to a couple of companies. So I'm like, oh, okay. So he's going to help me get a job. And I'd never done kind of recruitment to recruitment before, never gone through somebody to help me get a job, none of that. So I thought I'll just do it, and then worst comes to worst, I'll just back out. He got me a few interviews with some other recruitment agencies that weren't really my cup of tea, and I thought, you know what, this is a waste of time. Like I'm not really getting what I want. And then Redcat came along. They were like, we want to interview you for this. Went for my first interview. And literally from the first interview, it was like match made in heaven. Like the managing director and the recruitment manager, I spoke to both of them, the most chilled out, lovely men ever. And I was like, oh, this could be a good place. And then yeah, I had my final interview and then ended up here. But yeah,
So, what do you do on a day-to-day basis? Because obviously, I guess it's a little bit different to what people would expect.
yeah, 100%. I think, especially depending on what sector you're in. So, when I went for the other interviews, I was a bit worried like, is recruitment ready for me? Because they were sourcing for jobs that I didn't really understand. Whereas here, when they were talking through kind of what jobs I'd be sourcing, it was like digital designers, media account managers, marketing media managers, etc. And I was like, okay, well, that's what I am interested in and what I know about. So let me just go for it. But yeah, so day to day, come in, sit at my desk, work jobs that we get given. So when you start off, you get given jobs by your managers to work. So you find candidates and you place them in the roles. And then as time goes on, it's kind of up to you to find the jobs yourself from big clients. So big media agencies, advertising agencies, and then essentially find them the perfect candidates and put them in the job. So before I came into recruitment, I was like, I can't really see that being for me. Like, I think I could do it, I could smash it, but would it be that interesting? But it's so weird because, like, as a media uni student, I'm all of a sudden like in talks and making relationships with all these massive advertising agencies. Like, we work with like Condé Nast, who like work with Vogue, or like VCCP, and like speak to them about people that they need. And it just kind of blows my mind because I feel like a part of it, and it's so good. It is really interesting, and like you're constantly finding out about these jobs. And from the start, when I originally started, to not really knowing what I was on about, to just being able to now just talk about kind of what I'm doing, it's actually mad. But it's so nice to be like in the community of media and just like see it all happen.
Uh, How was your like first day? Because obviously, like you say, you've got the great managing director that you've got, but do you find that you had some kind of imposter syndrome? Were you scared, or were you just thrown in the deep end?
Massive imposter syndrome straight away, because I think looking back now, I'm like, well, it was a graduate job, so there's no reason to have imposter syndrome because I was a graduate. Like, they knew what they were getting themselves into by hiring me. And when I started, so I had interviews with the two managing directors, and then I had a meeting with my manager. So my manager, Darren, heads up the contract. So we hire freelancers and contractors, whereas the rest of the business work permanent jobs. So when I had started with Darren, straight away he made me feel so comfortable and was like, nothing was kind of too much of a task to ask. And that's what I was worried about because I thought recruitment, it'll be full of big egos, like all these people that are like, yeah, I make so much money. And it just was the complete opposite. I remember just like sitting at my desk thinking, oh my God, I've got like a full time job in London working in recruitment. Like, this is really scary. But day by day, like, it just gets easier, and it's just like the culture, especially at Redcat, is just like unreal. The people really make it. But yeah,
Where do you want to be in your future? Because obviously you mentioned that you were hoping to get senior. Do you want to progress in Redcat, or is there an ultimate end place for yourself? Like, are you gonna be a media freelancer? I don't know.
yeah. I mean, for me personally, like media freelancer would be something that I could definitely potentially take up. I want to be at Redcat for like a good few years. Like, I really want to kind of do well here. Like, they've given me a lot and they've done a lot for me. So for me, it's only right that I kind of stay here and do it justice because actually really love it. And there's so many opportunities to be had. Like, in a few years' time, ideally, I want to be kind of my own manager and have people under me, and then having my kind of own desk. And that's what you're kind of set up to do. Like, even though you are told and helped, you're kind of left on your own because the actual day-to-day job is so easy. It's a lot of calling people, telling them this, telling them that, putting them in for the role, but it's just about balancing it, doing the numbers, doing the enough calls to essentially make money. But yeah, I definitely see myself progressing. I really enjoy it, so it would be a shame not to, really. So hopefully they've got the same plan in mind for me.
I'm gonna go a little bit informal. What would you say is your favorite piece of technology at the moment?
My piece of technology. Oh,
Would it be the AirPods that doesn't connect?
I was going to say that. Yeah, I would say it's a toss up. To be fair, I've only just recently got the AirPods, and I actually love them. I don't know how I survived so long without them. But for me at the minute, very generic and boring. My iPad. I've just bought like a new iPad, and just like the creative element to it, like the drawing and the creating stuff. That is like the best thing to me because that's like what I do in my spare time. But yeah.
Are you currently watching or listening to anything in particular?
Watching. What am I watching? Oh my god, what am I watching? I'm not. Do you know what I am watching? This is really bad. I'm watching Love Island. Have you been watching it?
No.
You obviously haven't. I feel like that's not a lot of media production's current watchers. But
Oh dear.
I know it's bad. Okay, more cinematic stuff. Um,
Are you
Come
a
on.
Stranger Things person?
So I watched the first season, and I need to watch the rest of them, and I need to get into it because everyone says it's amazing.
I think it's just finding the timing, sitting down, and actually being able to do it.
I'm more of a cinema person. Like I love going to the cinema. I went to see Black Phone recently.
How is it?
Amazing. I also went to see the few A24 films that have been coming out. So I went to see Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is one of the best films I've ever seen in my life. I went to go see X by A24 and I went to see Men by A24. Literally all of them are amazing. So if you get the chance, you should go watch them.
Do you have any kind of inspirations that you look up to or people that you see as role models, whether it be in the company or just in life?
In life, honestly, in life, I'd love to say that I do, but I'm very much a I don't really have a role model because I'm never going to be exactly the way somebody else is. I kind of just like to beat my own expectations. Like, so start of the year, I make a checklist of what I want to achieve, like move to London, earn this amount of money, make these friends or whatever, just to kind of like sort myself out and make sure that I'm kind of doing myself justice. In work, it's really cringy, and they're going to watch this because I told them that I will be sharing it. But my boss, Darren, is my biggest cheerleader. He's honestly like the best manager at class four. He's so bloody lovely. And yeah, always pushes me to do well. So, especially in the workplace, Darren could be my role model.
What kind of experiences have you had since you've been working at Redcar or even at DMU or maybe even before DMU that you think stand out to you? Is it something media based or is it just a life experience? Because obviously everybody has a journey, everybody has a story, and I guess it deserves to be told.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I've been really lucky in my life. Like, I've not faced a lot of obstacles. Like I said, with my mum and dad, they've set me up to be like hard working. So I've kind of worked hard so that I don't have to kind of struggle. Do you know what I mean? Kind of life experiences, I would say I was in a long term relationship through uni and I was with him the whole time. And not that I regret it, but I wish that I'd kind of been on my own to kind of figure stuff out because I think my head would have been a lot clearer in what I want to do because there wasn't really anyone stopping me. So as soon as I finished uni, I ended it. And since then, he's definitely won't be watching this, but since then I've been so much happier and I've been kind of doing what I want to do. And I think that's really important to be all inspirational. Don't let anybody else stop you from what you want to do because you will only regret it and people come and they go. So if you're worried about not finding anybody else, there'll be other people out there. It's not the be all and end all.
Definitely not. If you were to win the lottery tomorrow, what would be the first thing you'd do?
So I would buy a flat in London and that'd
Okay.
probably be all the money gone. I would kit myself out, get so many new clothes. I would definitely take my mum and dad on holiday. And I would actually keep my job, maybe go a bit more part time, but I would keep my job for the social aspect. And what else would I do? That's probably it. I wouldn't change much. I would invest a lot of it. To be honest, good idea. You maybe make my own company, make my own agency or something. Why not?
Why not? And you could basically outsource to Redcat, or I don't know. But what is your biggest pet peeve of people that they don't understand? Like, obviously, you've been working at Redcat for a few months now, and you've found that there must be something that goes wrong. What do people not understand about you and your job role that you wish they did?
Oh, and I think Darren would say the same, and a lot of people on freelance contract, to be fair. My patience runs very thin. In perm, it's a lot more, it's still fast paced, but like contract, things can change in literally a matter of seconds. So I'm always in a rush, constantly in a rush. And also, not so much work wise, but work wise candidates. People are so ignorant, very ignorant, and but some of them are so lovely. So I just wish some of them understood that I'm just trying to help them, just get them a job.
What would you say is the most important lesson that you've learned?
At Red Cat or in life,
Work, why not?
work. don't care about what other people are doing. You got to focus on yourself, because the more times you focus on other people as well, you're going to lose sight of what you're trying to focus on. So then whatever they're doing is not in reach, and whatever you're doing becomes less in reach as well. So you end up with nothing. You've got to juggle plates, spin plates.
I know
You've got
what
to
you
spin
mean.
balls
Yeah.
and spin plates. You've got to spin your plates at the same time, and if you start looking at other people's, you're only gonna mess yourself up. So just focus on yourself. Be selfish. That applies to life as well.
Speaking of life advice, if you had to sum the podcast up, what would be the one bit of advice that you would give to either guide people through work, through life, or just university? I don't know, anywhere.
Enjoy every second of it. I'm sure you can say the same. It goes so fast. So enjoy every second of it. Um, Again, don't lose sight of the end goal, because it will come around very fast and you think you've got all the time in the world. So you think that's all right, I'll focus on it later, but then it comes around like that. And yeah, enjoy it, really enjoy it, because even if you find out at the end of your degree or during a job that it's not what you want to do, you can change. There's so many opportunities nowadays. There's no panic, no rush to get to where you need to be straight away, because it never happens unless you're extremely lucky. You've just got to hope that everything will fall into place.
Is there anything you want to plug?
Oh, do I want to plug anything? I've not got anything to plug. I really wish I had like a podcast or a really cool Instagram. And you can follow my Instagram if you want. But Redcat Digital, follow them on LinkedIn. So I'll probably be posting this on there. We're going to start posting more videos as well to kind of talk about Redcat as well. Because I think, like you say, a lot of people don't understand it or don't think that it's for them. And in reality, if you're bubbly, dedicated, and focused, it will be right up your street. Any graduates, any experienced people, just get in touch, and then we can see if we can work together. We're always hiring as well. They're looking to get like really big. So anyone that even just wants to find out a little bit more should definitely hit us up on LinkedIn.